Most of us understand, from a scientific point of view, that traveling in time is impossible. At least not in the 21st century. Traveling in time has been a long debated subject for decades. Time travel is a concept of moving forward or backward at different points of time, similar to how a displacement occurs in space. Also, some interpretations of time travel suggest the possibility of journeys between realities or parallel universes. The possibilities are endless if, of course, something like that was possible. And while we have seen many movies and series about time travel, I bet few of our readers have come across a story that details the life of a man who allegedly traveled to the year 3906 after falling into a comatose state. The story is bizarre. It's strange, but above all it's hard to believe, yet it's beautiful and compelling at the same time. In 1921, Dienach fell victim to an epidemic of sleeping sickness, and as a consequence of the disease fell into a coma for a year and staying this time in a hospital in Geneva. When he awoke, he started to write in his diary that he was awake and alert all the time, but not in the year or the place where his body was. His consciousness had traveled into the body of another person, called Andrew Northman, a man of the year 3906 AD. In 3906, Andrew was victim to a series of accidents resulting in a near-death experience. After Andrew wakes up, he begins speaking in an unknown language, believed to have been 20th-century German. He doesn't recognize his family, and he is perpetually awake, unable to fall asleep. The people in the year 3906 recognized that a separate consciousness had infiltrated the body of Northman, and they decided to take advantage of the situation by helping Dienach find out as much as possible while living in the future. Among the many things that Dienach learned while in the year 3906, the most important details are that a new species of human beings named Homo occidentalis novus appeared on Earth. Upon waking up, after experiencing everything he did, Dienach feared being considered a madman, so he did not tell anyone what had happened to him. However, everything changed when Dienach moved to Greece. At age 36, with a very poor health after recovering from coma, Dienach traveled to Greece in the fall of 1922, because of the better climate certainly improved his quality life. Once there, he took the opportunity to teach in a German university. It was there that he met George Papahatsis, a student who later became the vice president of the National Council of Greece. After 2 years, and seeing that his health deteriorated, Dienach decided to move again, this time to Italy. But before leaving, he confided to his favorite student, Papahatsis, a briefcase full of notes, but asking him to read it in the future. Soon after, in 1924, Dienach died of tuberculosis. George Papahatsis translated the notes gradually over a period of 14 years from 1926 to 1940. Initially, he thought his teacher had written a strange novel, but as he read more and more, he realized that what he was translating were the selfsame memories of his teacher. World War II and the subsequent civil war in the Hellenic country made temporarily abandon Papahatsis' translations of the notes. Subsequently, from 1952 to 1966, he tried to track down living relatives of the deceased teacher, even to travel to Zurich on 12 occasions. His search was fruitless, so he concluded that Dienach, who had fought on the German side during World War I, had changed his surname to arrive in Greece, a country that just fought against the Germans. After finishing the translation of notes, Papahatsis shared the result with a closed circle of fellow Masons. The writings were seized by the secret society as paramount to the future of mankind and, among insiders, Dienach won the title of Prophet of the Modern Times. When Dienach memories were published, reading it was complicated, there were more than 800 pages of rough notes. This is understandable because Dienach never tried to turn his diary as a book. Here is a summary of the future according to Paul Amadeus Dienach.
2000 to 2300 AD. Humanity is still struggling with the problems of overpopulation, ecological destruction of the environment, economic inequalities, wrong monetary system, lack of appropriate nutrition for all people, and local minor wars. People are living in this hastily race for atomic financial survival without time to look for their inner self and spiritual development. In 2204 AD is completed a large colonization of the planet Mars, of 20 million people. But in 2265 AD a vast natural destruction kills them all. Never again humanity tries to colonize Mars. 2309 AD, As the result of accumulated and non-solved problems, another big disaster comes to Earth and is the Great Global War. A great part of the civilization as we know it stops to exist. 2396 AD. This great change leads to the final establishment of a global parliament on Earth of the Global Union of Nations or States. But this global parliament, although it is elected through voting by the nations, is not from politicians or businessmen, but from scientists, technologists, and humanitarian figures. The money as we know it do not exist anymore. The planetary resources are redistributed, and are now enough for every person. The overpopulation, the climate, the nutrition, and the ecological problems are solved. But not entirely the subtle tyranny problem. Life is easy, and people work less and less during their life. The years start counting again with year number 1 the 2396, as in the time of Jesus Christ. Nevertheless, the global government is a form of totalitarianism, and national governments oppose it directly or indirectly for a couple more centuries. People are still with national consciousness and have not developed the planetary consciousness. Only after 2 to 5 centuries finally they did. Although there are not economic inequalities as we knew them, there are still inequalities over control of the level of technology and properties. People are spiritually weak and sluggish. This peculiar Dark Age era lasts till 3382 AD. A remarkable phenomenon happens in humanity. People one after the other acquire suddenly a new spiritual ability that could be called hypervision or hyperintuition. A direct access to the great spiritual light or direct knowledge with extremely powerful and of stunning clarity creative powers. It is also a mutation of the human brain. 3400 to 4000 AD. A new golden age comes in humanity after almost 1000 years of dark age. Now in the global government are not any more scientists and technocrats. They're the universal creators. Personalities that combine simultaneously the qualities and abilities of philosopher, artist, scientist, adept, mystic, etc. Everything in the society is free: clothes, house, food, transportation, etc. There is no private property, and the only inequalities are of honor and reputation. People do not count anymore the success of their lives with the technological and material standards of living, but mainly with their emotional, mental, and spiritual development and self-improvement. People work only 2 years in their whole life, between the equivalent of 17 and 19 years. The population of Earth is less than 1 billion people, and there is abundance of products for a decent living. The laws in the society are radically reduced to very few only, as the negative or criminal intentions of individuals in the society are almost absent.